The silence of Proxima Station. The stars above Proxima Station shimmered like distant campfires in an endless night. Captain Ilara Chen stood motionless on the observation deck, her reflection a ghost against the reinforced glass. 3 years commanding humanity's furthest outpost had taught her to appreciate these quiet moments. Proxima Centauri, the exoplanet they'd transformed into humanity's first extrasolar colony, rotated slowly beneath the station. 20,000 souls lived on its surface, with another 5,000 aboard the orbital habitat. "Captain, you're needed on the bridge." Lieutenant Seto's voice crackled through her comm unit. "On my way," Chen replied, casting one last glance at the star-speckled void. The command center hummed with activity. Officers moved between stations with practiced efficiency, but Chen immediately sensed something was wrong. The tension in the air felt electric. "Report," she said, sliding into her command chair. Sato's face was grim. "We've lost contact with Outpost Lyra. Complete communications blackout for the past 6 hours." Chen frowned. Lyra was their forward listening post, established on an asteroid at the edge of the Proxima system. It housed only 200 personnel but served as their early warning system. "Run diagnostics. Could be equipment failure." "Already done." "Systems check out. We've sent repeated signals." "Nothing." Chen tapped her console, bringing up the system map. "Dispatch a drone. I want eyes on Lyra within the hour." 90 minutes later, the bridge fell silent as the drone's feed appeared on the main screen. Where Outpost Lyra should have been floating was nothing but debris. The asteroid had been shattered, fragments drifting in a slowly expanding cloud. No distress beacons, no escape pods, just silence. "Magnify that section," Chen ordered, pointing to a dark object at the edge of the debris field. The image zoomed and clarified. It wasn't debris, it was a ship. Unlike anything in the human fleet, its hull was obsidian black with blue-violet energy pulsing along organic-looking ridges. "Alert Earth Command. Full emergency protocols. And get everyone to battle stations," Chen said, her voice steady despite the ice forming in her stomach. "We're no longer alone out here." Before the warning could be transmitted, the sensors screamed. Multiple contacts appeared at the system's edge, moving faster than any known propulsion technology should allow. "Incoming. 12. No, 27 unknown vessels." Chen had barely issued evacuation orders when the first energy beam struck Proxima Station. The deck buckled beneath her feet. Alarms wailed as atmosphere vented from multiple sections. "Get to the escape pods," she shouted as a second blast tore through the command center. The last thing Captain Chen saw before being thrown into an escape pod was her station, her home for 3 years, breaking apart like a toy crushed in a giant's hand. Her pod ejected automatically, tumbling away from the dying station. Through the small viewport, she watched in horror as the alien vessels surrounded the colony below. Blue beams lanced downward, setting the atmosphere ablaze. Within minutes, the once green settlement zones were reduced to smoldering craters. For 3 days, Chen drifted in space, her pod's beacon broadcasting on all frequencies. When rescue finally came, it wasn't from a civilian vessel, but from the UES Indomitable, a military cruiser sent from Earth after all contact with Proxima System had ceased. Admiral Rice, a stern woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen too much warfare, debriefed Chen personally. "You're the only survivor, Captain," Rice said, sliding a tablet across the table. 25,000 people. Gone. Chen stared at the images on the screen. Satellite views of Proxima. Now a scared wasteland. "I don't understand. Who are they? What did they want?" "We're calling them the Voidborn," Rice replied. "This wasn't their first attack, just their most devastating. They hit 3 automated outposts in the Kuiper Belt last month. We thought they might be pirates or even rebels from the Mars faction." "Those weren't human ships," Chen said firmly. "No, they weren't." Rice stood and walked to a viewport. The Security Council has been debating our response for the past 48 hours. That debate ended an hour ago, when we received this. She played a video on the main screen. A strange, elongated figure appeared, its skin iridescent like oil on water. It spoke in a deep, resonant voice, somehow translated into English. Humans, your expansion ends. Your colonies will be cleansed. Your species will be contained. This is the judgment of the Voidborn Conclave. There will be no negotiation. Silence filled the room after the message ended. They didn't even ask us to surrender, Chen whispered. No, Reyes said grimly. They don't want surrender. They want extinction. 2 weeks later, Captain Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, a newly commissioned dreadnought that dwarfed any previous human warship. Through the viewports, she could see hundreds of vessels assembling in Earth orbit, from massive carriers to nimble destroyers and everything in between. Admiral Reyes addressed the gathered officers, her voice broadcasting to every ship in the Armée. For the first time in our history, humanity faces an existential threat from beyond our solar system. The Voidborn attacked without provocation, without warning, and without mercy. They believe we will cower, that we will accept their judgment. She paused, looking at each officer in turn. They don't understand humans very well. A holographic display activated, showing the assembled fleet. Over 700,000 ships organized into 7 battle groups, the largest military force ever assembled in human history. Every nation, every colony, every faction has contributed to this fleet. For the first time since the founding of the Solar Union, we are truly united. The Voidborn struck to instill fear. Instead, they've awakened a sleeping giant. Chen felt a cold resolution settle in her chest. She had watched her people die, had drifted alone in the void with their screams echoing in her memories. Now she would have her answer. The Retribution fleet launches in 6 hours, Reyes continued. Our mission is clear. We find the Voidborn homeworld, and we make them understand that humanity will not be contained. We will not be judged, and we will not be extinguished. As the officers dispersed to their stations, Reyes approached Chen privately. I'm giving you command of the 7th Battle Group, Captain. I know it's several grades above your previous position, but no one knows these creatures better than you. Chen nodded, her face resolute. Admiral, when we find them, what then? Do we offer terms? Reyes's expression hardened. They made their position clear, Captain. We're not going to repeat their mistake. She handed Chen a command key. Operation Prometheus is authorized at your discretion. If you deem it necessary, you have full authority to deploy the Nova warheads. Chen felt the weight of the key in her palm. Each Nova warhead could ignite a star into a brief, devastating flare that would score nearby planets clean of life. It was a weapon of absolute last resort, never before used outside of simulations. I understand, Admiral, she said quietly. I hope you never have to use it, Reyes replied. But make no mistake, we will answer extinction with extinction if necessary. As Chen walked to her new command post, she stared out at the massive fleet, its lights mimicking the stars beyond. 25,000 souls demanded justice. She would deliver it. The Retribution fleet departed Earth orbit in perfect formation. 7 massive battle groups accelerating toward the quantum jump points that would take them to the edge of known space. As the blue-white tunnel of quantum space enveloped them, Captain Chen made a silent promise to the dead of Proxima Station. The Voidborn had unleashed humanity's darkest instinct, the drive to survive at any cost. And no force in the galaxy was more terrifying than humans fighting for their existence. Wrath of the 7 fleets. Quantum tunnels collapsed behind the Retribution fleet as 700,000 warships emerged into real space. The coordinates had been calculated based on trajectories of the Voidborn vessels tracked after the Proxima attack. Captain Ilara Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Vengeance, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. All battle groups report ready, Captain, her XO, Commander Rivera, announced. Chen nodded. Deploy recon drones. Maximum dispersal pattern. For 3 days, the human armada moved cautiously through the uncharted system. It was a binary star arrangement with 12 planets, most gaseous giants. But the fourth planet of the primary star showed signs of artificial structures. Massive cities under crystal domes, sprawling across a world with an atmosphere toxic to human life, but apparently perfect for the Voidborn. "We found them," Chen said quietly, examining the drone footage. "Their homeworld." Admiral Rice's hologram appeared on the command platform. "Confirmed, Captain. The Security Council has reviewed your findings. Operation Prometheus is now active. You may proceed at your discretion." Chen felt the weight of millions of lives, human and alien, resting on her next decision. "Have they detected us?" "Negative. Our stealth systems are holding." She took a deep breath. "Hold position. I want to understand what we're dealing with before we strike." "Understand." Rice's hologram flickered with interference. "Captain, your orders are to neutralize the threat." "And we will, Admiral. But I need to know if this is their only world. If we strike here and miss colonies elsewhere, we'll have achieved nothing." Reluctantly, Rice agreed to a 48-hour intelligence-gathering operation. What the drones discovered changed everything. The Voidborn weren't a unified species, but rather a collection of 7 distinct races, united under what they called the Conclave. Their history, pieced together from intercepted communications, revealed a civilization millions of years old, one that had witnessed the rise and fall of countless aggressive spacefaring species. And to the Conclave, humanity fit a pattern they had seen before: rapid expansion, resource consumption, and inevitable conflict. "They're not attacking us because they hate us," Chen realized. "They're attacking because they fear us." In the meditation chamber of the Conclave's central citadel, High Arbiter Nexus Kavoth sensed the approaching storm. His species, the eldest of the Conclave races, had evolved beyond physical form millennia ago, existing as energy patterns that could inhabit biological shells when necessary. Now, he manifested in his ceremonial body, addressing the gathered representatives. "The humans have arrived," he announced, his voice resonating through the chamber. 700,000 vessels. Their response is unprecedented. The Conclave erupted in nervous whispers. No species in their long history had ever mounted such a massive counterattack. "This proves our judgment was correct," argued D. Lara, the military commander who had overseen the Proxima cleansing. "They are dangerous beyond measure." Kavoth's luminous eyes dimmed slightly. "Or perhaps we have misunderstood them. No species commits such resources unless fighting for survival itself." The containment protocols were clear. D. Lara insisted. "We followed precedent." "Perhaps," Kavoth conceded, "precedent has failed us this time." Before they could debate further, the sensors detected the human fleet breaking formation, spreading into an attack configuration that surrounded the Voidborn homeworld. "They mean to destroy everything," D. Lara said, her voice suddenly uncertain. "Mobilize the defense fleets. Evacuate the civilian centers." Kavoth raised a hand. "Wait. They've had us in weapons range for nearly 2 planetary rotations. Yet they haven't fired. Why?" On the bridge of the Vengeance, Captain Chen made her decision. "Open a communication channel. All frequencies, all languages we've decoded." Rivera looked shocked. "Captain, the battle plan has changed," Chen said firmly. "We came here for justice, not genocide." The main screen flickered, then resolved into the elongated form of a Voidborn leader. Unlike the threatening figure from the earlier message, this one's luminous eyes held something Chen hadn't expected: concern. "I am Captain Ilara Chen of the Human Retribution Fleet. You attacked our colony without provocation, killing 25,000 innocents. We have come for justice." The Voidborn leader seemed to shimmer, its form becoming more substantial. "I am High Arbiter Nexus Kavoth of the Conclave. Your species was judged according to ancient protocols we now question. Your response is Not what we predicted. What did you predict? Chen asked. Retreat. Fear. Submission. No species has ever mounted such a response. Chen's eyes hardened. Then you've never encountered humans before. We don't submit to extinction. For several moments, silence stretched between them. Then Kvoth spoke words that would change the course of two civilizations. Perhaps we have misjudged. Over the next 72 hours, a fragile dialogue formed. The conclave revealed their history, how they had seen species after species expand rapidly, consume resources voraciously, and eventually turn on their neighbors. Their containment protocol had been developed millennia ago, identifying and neutralizing potential threats before they could spread. You judged us by the actions of others, Chen argued during a tense negotiation session, holographically present in the conclave chamber. That's not justice, it's prejudice. Kvoth, now understanding the human's perspective, addressed the conclave directly. The humans have not come to eradicate us, though they possess the means. They have come seeking understanding. Perhaps our ancient protocols have become flawed. Delera, the military commander, remained unconvinced. They surround our homeworld with weapons that could reduce it to ash. How is this seeking understanding? Chen answered directly. Because we haven't fired. Because I'm standing here talking instead of executing the order I was given. She produced the command key for the Nova warheads. This authorizes me to deploy weapons that would destroy your entire system. I could have used it the moment we arrived. Her words sent shockwaves through the conclave. Kvoth stepped forward. Why didn't you? Chen met his gaze. Because 25,000 deaths is a tragedy, but 7 billion would be an atrocity. Admiral Rice was livid when Chen reported the negotiations. You were sent to neutralize a threat, Captain, not to philosophize with the enemy. With respect, Admiral, I was sent to ensure humanity's survival. Chen countered. And I found a better way than mutual annihilation. After days of tense discussions between Earth Command and the Conclave, an unprecedented agreement took shape. The Voidborn would provide reparations for Proxima Station. They would share their ancient knowledge with humanity, including the star charts of thousands of habitable worlds beyond conclave space, where humans could expand without conflict. In return, humanity would establish communication protocols to prevent misunderstandings, and would agree to certain ethical standards in colonization, standards most human nations already upheld. 1 month after the Retribution fleet had arrived ready for war, Captain Chen stood again on an observation deck, watching as human and Voidborn ships conducted joint exercises. The Conclave had never encountered a species that responded to aggression with such overwhelming force, yet chose restraint at the moment of victory. High Arbiter Kvoth materialized beside her, his energy form now comfortable in her presence without a biological shell. Your species continues to surprise us, Captain Chen. She turned to face the luminous being. How so? Most young races, when discovering they face a superior force, either submit or lash out desperately. You did neither. You assembled a fleet that terrified beings who have traveled between stars for millions of years, yet when victory was assured, you chose to talk. Chen smiled faintly. That's humanity's greatest strength, High Arbiter. Not our ships or our weapons, but our adaptability, our willingness to find another way. Kvoth's form pulsed with what Chen had learned was amusement. The Conclave has existed for 12 million years, Captain. We thought we had seen every pattern of civilization rise and fall. But humans are a new pattern. As the joint fleet conducted maneuvers against the backdrop of stars, Chen felt the weight of the command key in her pocket, the key she had never used and now never would. The Voidborn had erased one human outpost, believing they were containing a threat. In response, humanity had deployed its deadliest fleet not for vengeance, but ultimately for understanding. And in doing so, they had earned something far more valuable than retribution, respect. Perhaps, Chen said, watching the ships move in perfect coordination, That's a pattern worth preserving. Kvoth's energy form brightened in agreement. Indeed, Captain. Indeed.